Servus Männer! Today I want to talk about a curious, almost funny case from Berlin I read about in the news just today. There was a mother of a young girl that was suing the university that runs a boys' choir in Berlin. Yeah? And the girl apparently wanted to sing in that boys' choir. I don't know if really the girl wanted to do that, or maybe it was the mother who thought that would be cool, maybe get some attention, I don't know. The article doesn't say anything about that. I just find it weird that a young lady out of the blue would want to sing in a boys' choir. Maybe the parents were involved here. Just a guess of mine. Anyway, so they asked the university if her daughter could join, and I think they actually invited her to sing, you know, as a sample or a test of her musical ability. And the answer was then that there are two major problems. The first one is that, of course, she is a girl, and the voice of a girl and a boy are different. It's not so much like a child and an adult, or a man and a woman, but I guess even between a young boy and a young girl, the voices and the choir that results then, or the sound of the choir, differs quite a bit, and that is why the dean said, or the responsible person said, that this can't be done. And then the second part B, was that overall her musical ability, her singing voice, is not adequate, is not meeting the standard that this perhaps very prestigious boys' choir demands. And so for those two reasons she was rejected, and then the mother was suing the university, and the court decided now, well, Germany is not that crazy yet, even Berlin, so the court decided that that is okay. The university or the person running the choir is absolutely or they are absolutely within their rights to reject that girl, because it is a boys' choir and not a mixed choir. And then if the responsible musicians or if they say that the girl doesn't meet the artistic or standards, or her ability is not that high anyway, then the story is clear, and the judge said that this is absolutely okay. Now, I found it really interesting how, I think it was the dean of the university, what he said. He said a girl can never sing in a boys' choir, and for the same reason that a clarinet player cannot join a string quartet. Yeah, because it is like a different instrument. I mean, if you have a brass ensemble, you don't want a violin player to join, probably, because that would change the sound. Or if you are in a, I don't know, what else is there? If you have a barbershop quartet, you don't want a bagpipe player, because that's not what you do then, right? And that's perfectly fine. And so this was, of course, then spun in a way, or the mother then claimed that this is discrimination, and technically it is discrimination, because to discriminate means to treat something differently, and yes, you probably treat a clarinet player differently than a violin player, I would assume. If you are looking for people for a string quartet, you would consider the violin player, but you wouldn't consider the clarinet player. So technically that's discrimination, but not, of course, in the woke sense that discrimination is something bad. Discrimination, I think, is nothing bad. It just means to treat something that's obviously differently. It's not a bad thing, technically. In electronics, I think there is also a machine that's called discriminator. Yeah, so something that can tell things apart. Yeah, or yeah, divide two signals, or yeah, separate them from each other. Ein Diskriminator. Okay. Anyway. So, that court in Berlin surprised me. I would have thought that some judge would actually rule that, now this girl can join this boys' choir, but nope, not the case. And I have to say, so the article doesn't really say if, as I indicated, I believe that the mother maybe wanted to get some attention and perhaps pushed her daughter to do that, but it might not be the case. But still, I mean, as a parent, you are responsible, and I think the parent probably should have told the girl that, hey, look, this is a boys choir, and they have a different voice, and that's a different form of choir, a different art form, basically. So you should look for a mixed choir or a girls' choir or whatever, right? But you shouldn't try to push your way in there. Because they are playing a different game and you cannot participate there because, well, you're not a boy. And yeah, so I think that's what the parent should have done. And instead, she opted to make it look like her daughter is rejected because they don't like her or something, when it's really just a very trivial thing. Boys choirs, same by the way as male adult choirs, the voice is just different and the sound is different from a mixed choir or a woman's choir. These are completely different ball games. So I think this example of string quartet and clarinet is really a good example, because yeah, it's like playing different musical instruments. Yeah? There's nothing more to be said about it, I guess. So, I mean, I don't know if the girl now thinks that they were mean to her or they reject her as a person, or because I think for the child that might actually be worse. You know, if you think that you should be able to participate, but they just wouldn't let her because they're mean or something. You could have just explained to the kid that, hey, this is kind of like a different instrument. Imagine it like playing a different musical instrument, but you know, you're born with that instrument being your voice, right? So that's nothing personal, and it is nothing personal. So maybe the child thinks now that this is something personal and they rejected her as a person and they're being mean to her and they don't like her. I don't know. But that is just one of these stories that you read in the news and you have to smile or to laugh, to chuckle. You think, isn't that a crazy world? But who knows, in 5 or 10 years, maybe, maybe like the Boy Scouts in the US, right? Where girls can join the Boy Scouts now. Maybe in 5 years or something, girls are allowed to sing in boys' choirs, changing then absolutely the sound of the choir. And maybe we will not be allowed to have boys' choirs anymore. I actually made a video some time ago about male spaces and traditions and stuff, and that was actually also about adult male choirs and how the courts forced them to accept women into their club, because all these choirs are clubs in Germany, that means now they have to accept women even though they're men's choirs. The court just said they don't have to be active members of the choir, but they have to accept women as passive members of the club. Yeah, have fun, you know. I don't sing in that choir, but I want to be in the club. Yeah, that doesn't make any sense, but that's what the court said. All right, so, enjoy the view, just like me, and that is what I wanted to say. Pretty crazy story. Enjoy the rest of your day, of course. Servus, Kameraden.